Welcome back to another episode of a series where I help you by telling you books that you need to pick up now, because this comic market is crazy. You never know what comic tomorrow is going to double or triple or whatever. This market has just been insane, but we can make smart, educated predictions here. I can't guarantee you what I'll say will be right, and sometimes I'll like to throw some fireballs that, there probably is a very slim chance that it could be right, but you might want to hop on it anyway if you're a gambling man. Before we get too far into the video, I would like to remind you, I am doing a giveaway on some awesome books, including a sweet John Romita signature on that Ultimate Spider-Man 100. Now, let's go ahead and hop in. Doing X-Men today. I've been telling everyone I'm talking to, pick up X-Men keys, pick up mutants, because we know they're coming. They are going to explode. So this episode is entirely focused on mutants and X-Men. So we're going to start off with, and it's mostly 4 out of 5 are actually from X-Men, or actually X-Men books. Starting off with X-Men 221. This, you can get it for about $120 in a good grade, and a really, good grade. Obviously, you can get cheaper at lower grades, but this is the first full appearance of Mr. Sinister. Now, we were so close to getting him in the Fox movies and everything. We kept getting hints and little teasers of Essex Corps and whatnot, and I feel like we were very, very close. Probably in another a year or two, probably, we would have got Sinister. I feel we were right on the edge, but we didn't get it. Now, that means, though, that'll be a new character for Marvel to explore. I haven't got a movie version of Sinister yet, so it would be very fresh. I know Marvel is going to want to differentiate itself from the Fox universe, and Mr. Sinister, although very hinted at, we never got, so I think this is a strong candidate. And, fan favorite X-Men villain, so I don't see why this would not be a good investment. Moving on to X-Men 266. You can get this book, it's going up there, it's getting up there. But I'd say roughly, in good grade, $300 to $400. Which is a pricey book, I know, and this whole series is about, affordable keys. But the thing is, if this book is already this price, it is, and literally you could have got graded. I got my graded 9 newsstand for $120 in February. That was a fair price. It might have been January. I can't remember now. January, February. I always forget. But regardless, this book is already shooting through the roof, more than quadrupled probably its raw value. And it's only going up. And now if we get Gambit, which I think there's a strong chance, because again, I know we got him a little bit in X-Men Origins, but that doesn't count. We didn't get a really fully realized Gambit, and I think there's a strong chance, and I think there's good demand for Gambit. Gambit is a fan favorite. He's a fun character, and he's got cool powers. So I think this is a good one. I know it's a little bit of a hefty upfront fee, but, like I said, spend the $300 to $400 today, and, a year from now, maybe that's a nice $600-800 book you got there. Who's to say? Not me, but I'm using my prediction powers to figure it out. Moving on, okay, I know that one was expensive, so we're gonna go on the much lower end this time. We're gonna go with X-Men 184. You can get this book for probably in good grade about $15. That is much better, right? That might be what you're here for. If the Gambit try to scare you off, don't worry, I'm reeling you back in. This is first appearance of Forge. And Forge is a kind of, push to the side X-Men character, one that I quite enjoy. I've always thought he was cool. Back in the day, I thought it would have been good to have Danny Trejo cast as him. But he's getting on in age, so he's probably a little too old for that role now. He was probably too old for the role back, 15 years ago, but I would have been okay with it. Now he's a little rough looking. He's still awesome. Still very awesome. Love that man. But anyway, this is a good, cheap one, because if you put $15 into a good, high-grade copy of this, and, if he appears or doesn't appear, at the end of the day, it's $15. If you probably won't really go down in value, but if we get Forge in any capacity in the movies, then, it could be, depending on what they do with it and how much. I feel like Forge is never like the main focal point, so I doubt that he would be, but you never know what Marvel's going to do. So it could, be a nice little sleeper book, something that, could be, nice little triple, quadruple your investment, maybe more. Like I said, depends on what they do with them, or it could, I could very easily see them not doing Forge at all as well. Now, time to put on my big, huge speculation of things that I would really like to see, but may not be entirely likely. We're going to talk about X-Men 60. Now, this book, it's an older X-Men copy, so for a good grade, or actually for a mid-grade. Yeah, this pricing I had was for about a mid-grade, because it's hard to find a high grade. You're going to spend about $150 to $200 on this book. Now, this is first Sauron, as you can see by the cover. Beautiful cover. I'd like to get this book personally. I love Sauron. Think it's a super awesome character, and I think would be super fun to enter the big screen on the MCU. I think it would definitely be a far cry from anything that Fox ever did. And I don't know, I just have a soft spot for Sauron. I really do. Maybe you do too. And like I said, this book is a little bit on the pricier side, and I think it's one of the bigger gambles. Potentially. It's hard to say, because like I said, I do think, man, that is, if Marvel was trying to be, quite different from the Fox stuff, Sauron would be a very, very good way to go. So maybe it's not too far off from what I'm thinking, or what they're thinking. It's hard to say now, but I'd like to see them. That's all I gotta say. Last book we're gonna do, it's not the X-Men book, but it is a mutant book, and it's probably pretty obvious. We're talking about New Mutants 98. Now, getting you a raw copy of this is probably going to cost you at least $500. First appearance of Deadpool here, and this is a sweet book. Now, obviously, there's a newsstand, and you have the Mark Jewelers as well, which are going to cost you even more money for either of those. If you're interested, shoot for it. I highly recommend it if you can. Now, these books are pricey, but, this book has been going insane, steadily, consistently growing in value. I picked up my copy very, very late February, second from the last day of February. It wasn't that long ago. Spent $400 on my 9.0, just a regular direct edition. Now I could probably get $700 for that book today. That is more growth than any other book I think I have, other than maybe my Gambit. My Gambit has more than doubled. Well, see, my Gambit's more than doubled, but I mean, it started at a much lower point. So it gained roughly, let's just say $180, while this has gained $300. That is insane. That is crazy. And like I said, it was growing before that. I could have picked up probably a 9.8 in December or so for about the same price as my 9.0. Maybe even a 9.8 newsstand. Like, this book has been going great. Now, granted, the growth is slowing down, I feel like. Sometimes I feel like it is, sometimes I feel like it isn't. I'm not going to lie, because I feel like in the past week, sales have been spiking again. So it's hard to say, but I think the numbers around, like, it's getting like a 14% growth, which is, like, steadily, and it's insane. It's crazy. This is, if you have the money for it, and you can set aside, $500 or plus dollars, I think New Mutants 98 is one of the best investment books you can make right now, because it is just, the numbers don't lie. That's all there is to it, is the numbers don't lie. The math is there. I'd like to pick me up a second copy if I can. Trying to figure out what, might have to sell something that's like, it might be worth it. I don't know. But man, I would really like to get a second copy, especially if I could get a higher grade. That'd be nice, because I like my 9.0, or even if I got, like, a newsstand or a Mark Jewelers would be awesome. I would love a Mark Jewelers, but we'll see. Might have to shift some things around, but those are my 5 recommendations for the week. Next week, there probably might still even be another X-Men book on there. I know X-Men are hard because, like, even though some of these are on the price you're in, you have other books like Giant Size X-Men 1 that are on a whole different scale, you know? And, like, that's a really good key. If you can afford it, I'd highly recommend that book. But that's, I feel like, out of the realm of what I intend for this series. Hot Comics is supposed to be about newer people or people that don't really have that much to invest, that want to get into comics and want to pick up on these keys before they get crazy. Because I'm fairly new myself. I got my first slab in December. It was Avengers 296, the first Taskmaster. Where's he at? Bang, right there. My first book I got in December. I now own 14 slabs. But I have a problem. You don't have to do what I do at my rate. Also, it helps my brother buys some of these too. But I'm starting to ramble. I think the video's over. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about these 5 books I've selected. And when you do, it'll automatically enter you into the giveaway. Now, if you want more details and clarification, there's a video, or there's a link in the description with a video. It tells everything about the giveaway. It's pretty simple. Basically, you just have to comment. But if you want all the details, it's down there. I will be back Wednesday with new comics for the week. Y'all have a good one.